Hey everybody, this is Dan here with EasyPostureBrands.com. Today we're going to talk about sciatica and a couple exercises that you can do while standing at work to help relieve your symptoms. So first thing, what is sciatica? So sciatica is this kind of catch-all term describing pain along the sciatic nerve distribution. So as the nerve roots kind of leave your lumbar spine or your lower back, they form together what's called the sciatic nerve. So we can have irritation or pain anywhere along that sciatic nerve distribution. Some of the most common causes of sciatica that I see as a physical therapist in my clinic are either discogenic origin, or pain coming from a lumbar disc herniation or disc bulge, spinal stenosis, or narrowing of that kind of gap where those lumbar nerve roots leave from, or from compression underneath the muscle. This is something that you might hear referred to as like a piriformis syndrome, or kind of compression underneath that piriformis muscle. So all these different types of sciatica, regardless of what's causing that sciatica, our main goal is how can we desensitize that sciatic nerve. Nerve pain is rarely something that needs kind of more invasive treatment. Oftentimes we can get this better conservatively through movement and through exercise. Our exercises are going to kind of gravitate around desensitization and neurodynamic exercises to improve that sciatica.
This is called a standing hamstring isometric. I love this exercise for sciatic pain because it kind of works to desensitize that entire sciatic nerve distribution. So regardless of where your sciatica is coming from, whether it's a disc, spinal stenosis, or piriformis syndrome, this is a great exercise to work to desensitize that sciatica. What you're going to do is you're going to hold on to something to make sure it's not a balance exercise. So either holding on to a wall, or here I have a broomstick. And then we're going to get up next to either a chair, a box like this, or a curb, something to kind of prop your leg up on. So I'm going to prop my leg up on this box. I'm going to have a slight bend in my knee. I'm going to pull my toes up towards me. So my toes aren't just flopping. I'm pulling those toes up towards me. From here, I'm going to make sure that I have at least like a 3 to 4 out of 10 intensity stretch behind my leg and into my hamstring. To do that, I'm going to just take my belly button towards that foot a little bit. I'm not bending my back, so I'm just kind of shifting forward a touch until I feel that stretch along the backside of my thigh. From here, what you're going to do is you're just going to hold that stretch for about 20 to 30 seconds, just sustaining that stretch behind the thigh. And then here's where the kind of magic comes in. You're going to press that heel down. So I'm pushing my left heel down hard into this box to try to get an isometric or muscle contraction without changing the length for about 20 to 30 straight seconds. So I'm pushing my heel straight down as if I'm trying to crush this box underneath my heel. I'm holding for 20 to 30 seconds, and then I'm relaxing. I'm going to get a little bit deeper into that stretch, and we're going to repeat that process. So now I'm just holding that stretch for about 20 to 30 seconds, and now I'm going to repeat that pushing straight down. So this is called a hamstring isometric, and we're working on desensitizing that entire sciatic nerve root distribution. My typical kind of set and rep scheme for this is 2 to 3 rounds of a 20-second hold and a 20 to 30-second push. Again, that push should be for about 50 to 70% intensity. So I'm pushing hard, and the goal here is to desensitize that sciatic nerve root distribution. It's called the hamstring isometric. This exercise is called a standing lumbar extension. This exercise works great in folks who have sciatica from discogenic kind of source. So if your sciatica is coming from irritation of a lumbar disc, this is a great exercise to reduce that amount of compression. What you're going to do is you're going to stand with your feet and knees together. You're going to place your hands on your hips. You're going to extend your back, pushing those hips forward, hold for a second, and then back. So if those discs are kind of pushing on one of those lumbar nerve roots, causing that sciatica kind of down the leg, this exercise is going to work to kind of get that discogenic material just going the other way. So this is a great exercise in folks who have sciatica from prolonged sitting, whether you're sitting at work for a long period of time, or anybody who has that discogenic kind of sciatica nerve pain. So this is called the standing lumbar extension. What we're going to do is 2 to 3 rounds of about 10 repetitions here. Again, feet and knees are together, hands are on hips, pushing those hips forward, pause for a second, and then back. I'm not pushing so far forward that it's causing a pinch in my lower back, so I'm not trying to kind of push through any pain barriers. I'm just trying to get a little bit of a stretch, hopefully getting some relief down that leg, and then I'm taking a rest. 2 to 3 rounds, about 10 repetitions. This exercise is called the standing psoas or hip flexor release. This is a great exercise for sciatica for a couple different reasons. Number one, we're kind of releasing the muscle in the front called the psoas, which can cause compression on the lower back. Number two, we're getting a nice isometric of the gluteal muscles and the piriformis muscle here to reduce that amount of compression on that sciatic nerve. What you're going to do is you're going to set up in a standing position with the affected lower extremity behind you. So I'm kind of staggered here, and my affected leg, so my left leg here, is behind me. I'm going to stay upright through my trunk, so making sure I'm not kind of leaning forward or anything like that. So I'm upright through my trunk, and I like to be kind of up on this toe. So I'm not kind of flat-footed here. So I'm kind of up on this toe. From here, what you're going to do is you're squeezing this left glute. So I'm kind of squeezing this muscle on the backside. When I do that, I feel a couple different things. Number one, I feel a nice stretch in my hip flexor and my psoas group. And number two, I feel a strong muscle contraction right where it hurts, right along the backside of this hip and down the hamstring. I'm going to hold that squeeze for about 20 to 30 straight seconds, and then I'm going to relax. When you're relaxing, you can kind of get off that leg for a minute if it's kind of burning. We're just taking about 10-15 seconds off, and then we'll go back into it. So I'm getting into this kind of long position here, so I can already even feel a little bit of that stretch here. So making sure you're not leaving it short. You want a good stretch of those hip flexor groups. And then I'm squeezing this back pocket muscle, so kind of pinching the cheeks together, holding for 20 to 30 seconds, and then relax. I usually hold on to a broomstick or a wall, something to kind of make sure this is not a balance exercise, but you can really focus on that muscle contraction. This is the standing hip flexor release. So one bonus exercise here that's not a standing exercise for sciatic nerve pain, but one that I really like for folks who have sciatica at work is called a seated sciatic nerve stretch. So what you're going to do is you can do this when you're sitting at your desk, or if you are able to grab a seat somewhere. This is a great exercise to desensitize that sciatic nerve distribution. What you're going to do is you're just going to sit in relaxed posture. So I'm not trying to hold like a textbook perfect posture here. I'm just kind of relaxed. I'm going to slow and controlled kick out that affected leg. Whichever leg you're experiencing that sciatica with, I'm kicking that leg out just until I feel a little bit of that tug. So once you feel that kind of sciatic nerve tug, I'm going to stop there. I don't care if my leg's all the way straight. I don't care how high you get it. Just as soon as you feel that tug, you're going to stop. Then you're going to pull your toes up towards your nose, point your toes back, and bend your knee. We're not trying to hang out in any prolonged position here. We're just trying to get in and out of these kind of uncomfortable positions with that sciatic nerve. Trying to desensitize it, get a little bit of neural dynamics here. So it's kind of a four-part movement. So the first part is you're kicking that leg out. So I'm kicking that knee straight out. Pull those toes up, point those toes, bend the knee. The biggest cue I could give you with this is don't push past any pain barriers. You're trying to poke into that kind of sciatic nerve tension or that neural tension, but you're not trying to blow past it. So listen to your body here, not pushing past those pain barriers. Going for 2 to 3 rounds, about 10 repetitions here. If you do it right, it should feel good. It should feel like a nice stretch. If it doesn't, you're probably pushing too far into it. Probably need to take a little bit of juice off with it. So going for about 2 to 3 rounds, about 10 repetitions, the seated sciatic nerve stretch.